Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching TopTenzNet, and in the video today we're looking at the top 10 worst sinkholes. It seems a bit backwards to think of sinkholes being in a top 10. They are, at the end of the day, all about bottoms dragging whatever they can swallow down to nightmarish fates. So watch this video if you want to find out just how flamboyantly the earth can kill you without warning, and then also take care of the burial. Let's get started.
Number 10. Winter Park in Florida. It certainly looks like the result of a massive, very precisely aimed bombing campaign, but luckily no one was killed or even injured by it. In fact, despite its $4 million in damages, it apparently was a bit of a boon for the town as it drew worldwide attention and people sold t-shirts and such around it. Before long it was filled with concrete and just became an unassuming lake. Those t-shirts must be some of the most embarrassing garments in all of Florida, if any survive. Number 9. Daisetta in Texas. Growing from 20 feet to over 900 feet in diameter and 260 feet in depth, this well-documented sinkhole threatened the 1,000-person population of this town in 2008. Again, fortunately no one was killed, although large amounts of equipment were lost to this hole, brought on by limestone crumbling induced in part by the presence of salt water and oil. Then, as if to put a horror cherry on the disaster cake, a 7-foot alligator moved into the resulting waterhole. Number 8. Guanghzhou in China. In another case of a sinkhole that looks like it must have killed someone but fortunately didn't so much as injure a single person, this one opened in January of 2013. This is especially fortunate as it happened in a huge city and next to an apartment complex with 300 people in it. Suspicions as to why this might have happened were directed at a nearby construction project and also the fact that bad plumbing in overcrowded areas often causes seepage and sinkholes in China. Number 7. Idaho Highway. There's something inherently undignified about the thought of being killed by something as small and non-threatening as a gopher that it actually becomes a kind of scarier notion. On August 9, 2012, Sonia Lopez was driving to work when a section of highway collapsed and she fell in, dying at the scene. Something that happens all the time and with no warning. It is worth noting, though, that she did not have her seatbelt buckled, so let this be a reminder that even during long, boring stretches with no other traffic where it seems there is no risk, it might still be worth to leave it fastened. Number 6. Seffner in Florida. On March 1, 2013, a sleeping 36-year-old man in Seffner, Florida, was taken to the bottom of a sinkhole in his bedroom. It was such a deadly situation that rescuers couldn't even go within a 50-foot radius of the hole safely, and thus his rescue was delayed until after he was presumed deceased. At least the 5 other people that were in the house with him at the time were unharmed. The event so completely captured the public imagination that a totally unrelated sinkhole that didn't harm anyone in the same town became national news. Number 5. Taipei, Taiwan. As you saw in entry number 9, there is dramatic footage of sinkholes collapsing. There is comparatively little footage of people being killed by them, though. That changed in August 2012 when an anonymous individual was captured by security cameras in plunging through collapsing sidewalks. At the time, the city was being battered by Hurricane Saola, which would have been exactly the sort of thing that would bring this about over time by weakening the bedrock. Number 4. Guatemala City. Sinking to 330 feet, Guatemala City's 2007 sinkhole looked like a portal to hell had finally opened up. It claimed the lives of 3 people and caused such a massive sewer problem that the military needed to use explosives to repair the flow, which was ironic since a broken sewer main was thought to be the cause of the sinkhole in the first place. Surely that has to be the worst sinkhole in the city's history. Number 3. St. Jude in Quebec. Unlike Jeff Bush's family, there were no survivors in this May 10, 2012 sinkhole incident. A family of 4's house was destroyed when the clay soil their home was situated on collapsed, and the result was so unstable that rescue workers that went into the house had to retreat when the house resumed moving. None of them were reported as being injured. There was little cause for concern prior to the event, as the location was far from the nearest large body of water. Number 2. Guatemala City. Again. In 2010, Hurricane Agatha caused such terrible groundwater problems in the city that another horrifying sinkhole appeared, again sinking down to more than 300 feet. This time it ate a 3-story building, and sadly 15 people were killed by it. Horrific images of it spread around the world again. This second sinkhole was 2 kilometers from the original. Hopefully this time it will be the worst sinkhole for the rest of the city's history. Number 1. Ubar. A busy trading center and fortress city 5,000 years ago, Ubar must have seemed as secure and permanent as Los Angeles does today. Then it sunk into the dunes because the underground water supply, the very thing that had made it a prosperous area, undermined its soil. In the 1980s, archaeologists, using a NASA satellite, located roads leading to the remains of Ubar, which had become legendary as the Atlantis of the Sands in the Arabian Peninsula. Similarly, it developed a reputation as having been punished by the Supreme Being for having become too materialistic. Again, parallels could be drawn to Los Angeles.
So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, be sure to give us a like, it really helps us out. And also subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. You'll probably like it, you reached the end of this video, you'll probably like our other stuff, so be sure to subscribe, big button below me now. If you're watching on a mobile device, don't worry if you can't click on the screen, there are links in the description. And over there on the right, you'll find the top 10 most bizarre and unusual tragedies. And then below that, we've got the top 10 times the weather changed the course of history, so be sure to check those out. And again, links in the description if you're on a mobile device. Thank you for watching.